There you go.
Good morning, everyone. How
They're a
are you?
little quiet this morning,
Good
Fred.
morning, Fred. Good morning.
Hey, you know what? Hold on
Good
one second.
morning, Fred.
Hey, man, good morning. Good, good. It sounds like we're awake this morning. I love it. Hold on one second. I'm going to have to move. It's just that the sun popped over a certain spot here, and it's right in my eyes, and it will be shining off of my head, and you won't see another thing. It's like deep, you know. Look at that. Look at that head of his. Look, isn't that beautiful head? You know. All right, that's better. That's better. All right, let's do that. Okay. So let's get rocking and rolling. I just forgot my ink pen. One sec. All right. Hey, you guys mentioned grit. How many are going to grit? How many? One, two. Put it in the chat. How many are going to grit? Let's see. I've signed up for grit. One, two. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm driving, Fred, so I can't put it in. So
Okay, good. Yeah, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, if you when they put that in there, I'll tell you what. I did a mini thing with Curtis and Debbie the other night for my channel, Real Power Programs. Wow, let me tell you something. And Tom, thank you for introducing them, you know, to this group. They are, I mean, they're the best of the best. And this you know, adding $100,000 to your pipeline for $199 and that much coaching is just, I don't want to call it a bargain. It's just great value. So I'm going to be promoting it heavily on my end because I just think it's such value. You know, they have some very, you know, significant, they have a significant success record with the people they coach. And if you miss that, you're really missing out. So I encourage you, when you see that link, click it, sign up, and don't think about it. All right, let's get going here. How many of you ready to unlearn something? Because that's what this is all about. It's all about unlearning. We know enough. We know enough already. We got to unlearn a lot of what we know. And, you know, that's what today's about. And we've got a special guest. You know, we do the same thing. This is all about unlearning, a thought reversal system. You know, we could, this philosophy of Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. We're here to examine our life today. We're here to examine our business today. We're here to examine our thinking today, because without that, you know, it just doesn't work. I do believe, I know it, and I'm practicing it, is that our lives can be on autopilot, and that, you know, we can have permanent success. It's not an up and down thing. All of our prayers can be answered. We can have the power to do it now. We can be, you know, only the strong survive. No, only the strong thrive. Okay, because it's not about survival. It's about thriving. Not surviving, but about thriving. This entire series, this is our third week now in radical success. And the reason we have to become radical is because the ego knows nothing else. You've got to conquer it. You've got to discipline it. You've got to, same way with your body, you've got to work your mind out. You've got to work your thinking out. You've got to wrestle it to the ground. You've got to take control of it. You know, one of the definitions, eradicate all existing or potential disease. Folks, Ziegler said it best. All of us suffer from a big disease called stinking thinking, right? And we've got to eradicate our stinking thinking. It's just no other way around it. You've got to be tough on your thinking. You've got to take control of it. And, you know, we've got to do that constantly, moment by moment, in order to succeed, because the statistics prove that our thinking is just not right, because we're coming in and it's more about than just this little cycle of what we call life. It's bigger than that. And when you look at the statistics, and I believe our statistics on this call are probably somewhat better than these statistics here, but most of us have been, our ego wants us to live life by default, not by design. Our source, our creator, our God, our universe, whatever you're comfortable calling it, it's all by design, not by default. And the only thing holding us back is that programming, that belief system that we have from mother, father, teacher, preachers in our lives. And we need to change it, because look at the statistics, both health-wise, financial. And I know, this is a midweek mind body mastermind. And when you quote truth, sometimes it's not positive. It doesn't seem positive, but it is positive because we can use it as positive. And when you look at these stats, it's just sickening that 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer. Half of the US adults have some type of cardiovascular disease, obesity 42%, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. The suicide rate. I had the opportunity of doing a charity auction as an auctioneer this past weekend for mental awareness. And one of our agents, Anastasia, I don't know if Anastasia's on. Are you on, Anastasia Pitanova, by chance? She is involved in helping women in distress, all mental awareness, because of her own personal story, of which is on my channel, Inside Out Agent on YouTube. Would you watch her story, how not too many years ago, she was contemplating that this life was not worth living and leaving behind 2 sons. So, and then she discovered that there was something from the inside out. She didn't want to become a statistic. And now she's involved in helping women do that. So it's incredible when we all work together. And that's why I love these masterminds where we come together, because we have got to overcome these horrible, horrible statistics. Divorce rate, 50%, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. And then financial, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. How is it in this country with so much opportunity, 70% live paycheck to paycheck, that the average American has $90,000 in debt? And by the way, if you're one of them, talk to me about a fresh start, restart, because you can't carry this kind of stuff. 40% can only cover 3 months of expenses. 50% of US Americans difficulty paying a $400 emergency expense. So do we have to get radical is the question. Yes, we have to get radical. Last week, we had a guest on talking about some things. And here's where we got to get radical. You've got to make a decision today. And our guest today is that I'm going to introduce here in a second. Our guest today is going to help us do what I've been talking about now for 2 years in our group, 1.5 years in our group. And that is getting out of this side of life, the program side, all about fear, competition, judgments, doing, performance, all this stuff over here that the ego produces: age, sickness, sleep, checking out, life happening to you, you're defensive, you're a victim, why me, something wrong with me, so on and so forth. And moving over here, ageless, health, awake, checking in, life happening for you, you are offensive, you're a victor, not a victim. Why not? Instead of why me, it's why not me. And instead of something's wrong with, it's something's right with me. And this is all about the dreams and the goal mind. This is all about nightmares and something wrong with me. This is all about the monkey mind. Well, this is the thermometer. And this is where the ego wants you to live. The ego's goal is to defeat this. It's just a way we're made. It's that left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain, the thinking brain, that those chatters. And then this is that creative brain that we got here with. And we were programmed with all this stuff. And we say we don't want to live over here, but yet this is where we spend the majority of our time. And that's why all those statistics are what they are, is because of the ego. And the only way to overcome it is by having the heart. And the only way to get heart is by what you're doing this morning, tuning in to get someone to help you. And I think that today you're going to be really, really pleased. Last week we had, Mark on, a psychotherapist, that helped us talking about the circle of belief and then the drama triangle and how to get off of those and turn these into positive. Today, I want you to welcome this young lady, Rose Sassoon Saldi, who is also a personal coach of mine. And she's going to talk about these things right now. Breaking the myth of why I can't be successful, 3 categories of self-limiting beliefs, guided imagery, stepping into identity of who you want to become, and immediate access to confidence. So with no further ado, first of all, fasten your seatbelts. We're turning it over to you, Ro. I'm going to hit stop share. Bingo. And it is all yours. Welcome, Ro. Everyone, give her a round of applause for taking her time.
I'm very excited to be here and share my knowledge with you guys. And Freddie is amazing and he's very inspirational, as you all know. Okay, so let's dive right in. As Fred said, I am an NLP master practitioner and a hypnotherapist. My main passion is the unconscious mind and the beautiful things we can do once we access the unconscious mind. So I'm going to dive right in. There will be some guided imagery. So if any of you have ever done guided meditation or hypnosis or some sort, just get ready for it because it's coming, okay? I don't want to be surprised.
Ro, I appreciate that compliment about me, but one thing you didn't add, because you know, and he's awfully screwed up. Like all of us.
All of us, right?
Right.
Okay, so let me just share the screen. Let's start. First, I need to share. Perfect. So let's dive right in. Let me just shrink this little thing over here. Great, perfect. Okay, so how your belief system is sabotaging your success. Yeah. So I'm going to go real quick about what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about what is a limiting belief in the NLP world, just to kind of break that down real quick. We're going to break the myth of why I can be successful. We will go over 3 categories of self-limiting beliefs, main ones. And we're going to take a closer look at your belief system. There's going to be a guided imagery. I do invite you to step into yourself, because this is where the gift is in my presentation. So if you're really connecting to yourself, this is where the magic happens. And then we're going to step into the identity of who you want to become. And then if we have time, I'll leave some time for questions and answers. Sounds good, everybody? Perfect. So what is a limiting belief, right? We've heard about it so long. Let me break it down real quick. So in the NLP, limiting belief is a belief or decision we make about ourselves and or our model of the world that limits the way we live. So far, makes sense. The limiting belief is inside our belief system within our internal world, thus shaping our responses to external world and opportunities around us. So I'm going to tell you a little bit story about myself. I used to hold on to the belief that money is bad, that people that have a lot of money are evil, and they're going to use the money to do bad stuff, and they don't care about other people. They're just going to do everything in order to keep their money, right? This is a belief that I used to hold on. And while holding on to this belief, in my head, there was a cap, right? There was a cap that if I make, let's say, more than $3 million, then I am rich and then I become evil. So that was my unconscious cap of making over that amount of money. One day I went into a masterclass, had nothing to do with money, no money blocks, any of that. It was just an NLP hypnosis masterclass. And I'm going to share with you that broke my belief. So let me ask you a question. Have everybody here watched Scrooge? Remember Uncle Scrooge from the Duckies? Walt Disney? Yay, nay, everybody.
DuckTales.
Yeah?
DuckTales. Yep.
Yeah. So think about it like this. What is the opening scene over there? What happens in the opening scene? In the opening scene, you see Uncle Scrooge swimming in money, greedy, gems, coins, and he is the whole story about him that he doesn't care about anything else but money, right? It's all about the money for him. He doesn't care about people. He just wants to hold on to his money. Let's go a little bit forward to the Simpsons, right? Simpsons. Who is the rich guy there? Mr. Burns. He owns the nuclear plant, the power plant. And again, the nose, the small eyes, doesn't care about anything but money again, doesn't care that he's polluting the earth with his nuclear. And again, let's go forward. In every movie, the villain is always the bad guy that has a lot of money. So for example, here, the limiting belief with me, for me, was shaped by the media, right? And that's what I believe, that if you have money, you're probably going to use it to do bad stuff, because that's what I've seen. Now, what happened there in that moment is I realized that a chair is a chair, and I can use the chair to hit somebody on the head with it, but I can use that chair to offer it to somebody to sit on. Same thing with money, right? So this is where my belief broke. Now let's keep going. So if anybody of you can resonate here and had some kind of block on money, please share. So I can be successful because I'm not smart enough. I'm not skilled enough. I don't have enough motivation. We've all said it to ourselves. I know I have. Oh, I need to learn more before I can succeed. I'm not skilled enough. I can't find any motivation, right? So I will tell you this. It is the limiting belief that you hold on to and that you're afraid to let go of. The real response behind your struggle to become successful is not about being smart, skilled, or motivated. It's just a myth. Imagine what will happen if you let go of these beliefs. And I see Tarisha has her hand up, and I'll have at the end times for questions and answers. Is that fine? Okay. Okay, so there are three categories in which most people have self-limiting beliefs. So we have self, we have limiting beliefs about ourselves, we have limiting beliefs about money, and we have limiting beliefs about work, right? There's three main limiting beliefs that we have categories in them. Now, remember when I told you I'm going to invite you to a short guided imagery? So this is it, this is where it's happening. So I invite you to open the door to your unconscious mind and take a closer look at your belief system. So we're going to start with the first category of beliefs, and it's about self. How do we see ourselves, right? I'm not educated enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Does any of this sound familiar to you guys? In our self-talk, right? So what I want you to do now, I invite you to take a deep breath. And if you choose to close your eyes, that would be great. If you choose not to, that's fine as well. I did find from my experience that once you tune in a little bit more and you let the chatter go and you close your eyes and you go in, the results are better. So what I want you to do, I just want you to get comfortable, take a deep breath, and I want you to pull out an image of yourself. Pull out an image of yourself, and I want you to see what you see. What kind of limiting beliefs are coming up? See what you see, hear what you hear, and feel what you feel. And whatever comes up, let it be. There's no right or wrong. It's just your limiting beliefs, and just addressing them, just the awareness that you bring them into awareness at the moment is almost sometimes 90% of the work. Just acknowledging them. What are your self-limiting beliefs? How do you see yourself? What is slowing you down? What is the limiting beliefs that are holding you back from full potential? What is this limiting belief that feels like it's pulling you down, almost like you have rocks and you're in the water and you're trying to gasp for air, but they're just pulling you down? Now, I want you to choose a limiting belief that you don't want anymore, that you want to get rid of, that is not serving you. And feel how you cut this rope and the rocks are just going down to the bottom of the ocean as you go up and breathe for air, feel the freedom in it. And what I want you to do next is I want you to project yourself into the future where you no longer have this limiting belief because you left it in the past. And now in the future, there's a new you, the one without the self-limiting belief that was holding you back. And now pull an image of yourself in the future now, where you left this limiting belief in the past. And what do you see now? What comes up? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? How do you look now? What is your posture? Your face expressions? Where are you? And when you're ready, and what's different now? What is different? That's the most important thing. What's different now that you no longer have this limiting belief? And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, let your unconscious mind do all the changes that it needs to do in order to welcome the new you and come back to this room here and now, only when you're ready. How's that, guys? Give me thumbs up if you liked it. It was good? Perfect. Okay. So we're going to go and we're going to do the same, kind of the same journey on money and work. Okay. So the second category of beliefs is about money. Nice people, those are limiting beliefs that people have. Nice people don't have money. I used to have that limiting belief. There is never enough money. We all heard that one, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Says who? That's what I would ask. And money will create problems. Does that sound familiar, guys? Just give me thumbs up. Yeah, perfect. I can see some of you, some not. Good. So we're going to do kind of the same thing, a little bit different of a journey. Everybody's ready for the ride? Buckle up. Great. So I want you again to kind of close your eyes if you choose to. If not, that's fine as well, whatever is comfortable for you, and just go in for a moment. And I want you to pull out an image of money. It might come as a symbol or a feeling or an image, whatever it comes for you. There's no right or wrong, whatever money represents to you, just pull that image out. And I want you to ask yourself what comes up. What comes up? What limiting belief do you have with money? What is your relationship with money? Do you believe that there is abundance of money? Maybe you believe that you have to work hard for money. Maybe you're afraid to make money because you're afraid to lose it. Maybe making money means to you that you're going to lose your freedom. Maybe you do believe that there's abundance of money and money is easy to make. Whatever belief that comes up, just let it go into the surface. Identify it. What is this image, symbol, energy, feeling makes you feel? What do you see? What do you hear? What is your relationship with money? And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, choose to let go of this limiting belief that is holding you back. Wouldn't it be easier to just let it go? Wouldn't it be so nice to just put it behind you since it's not serving you? Let this limiting belief, choose to put it behind you, burn it, do whatever you got to do with it. This limiting belief about money. And now what I want you to do, I want you to project yourself into the future where you no longer hold this limiting belief about money because this is in the past. And in the future, now, you have a different belief about money. What is this belief? What's different now? Pull out the image about money in the future, now that you have left your limiting belief in the past. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What money represents to you now? What's different now that you no longer hold this belief, this old belief that didn't serve you? And whatever it is, and whenever you're ready, let your unconscious mind take all the learnings all the way up to now. And when you're ready, just come back into the room. How was that, guys? Good? Great, perfect. I don't see all of you, so I see some of you, and it's perfect. Okay, so let's go back to beliefs about work. How am I in times? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I'm okay. Okay, so the third category is belief about third category of beliefs is about work. It was just luck. It's too hard to work with buyers right now. It's too hard to compete against multiple offers. I don't sell $1 million houses. Cold calling is not me. Door knocking is too hard. Everybody already has a realtor. And there's so many more limiting beliefs, right? In your little world of realtors. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Perfect. So let's go through the last one. I invite you again to just kind of close your eyes and go inside and choose to think about what limiting belief are you holding on to about work? What comes up when you pull out your professional persona? Pull out an image of your professional persona. And now, what limiting beliefs are coming up? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What is this limiting belief that is slowing you down, that is pulling you from getting to your full potential? Wouldn't it be better to just let it go? Wouldn't it be easier to just choose to not hold on to it anymore? And I want you to choose to leave this limiting belief behind you right now and project yourself into the future where you no longer hold this limiting belief that you had in the past because you know it doesn't serve you. And here in the future, there's a new image of you, a new image of professional persona of you without this limiting belief that you used to hold on to because you let it go. It's in the past. And now in the future, you can see the new you. What do you see there? What do you hear? What do you feel? What comes up for you? What's different now? And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, let your unconscious mind do all the changes that needs to be done in order for you to hold this new belief about yourself and make all the way to here, now, in this room. Open your eyes. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm going to give you a moment just to kind of ground yourself. Now I'm going to step into the identity of who you want to become. So in order to sell $1 million property, you need to step into the identity of the type of person who can get these results, right? Now, this is very important. I encourage you to screenshot this page after I'm going to start exposing the rest of it. It's almost like a roadmap that you can do an inner check to yourself and see if this is really what you want, right? So who is the type, you're going to ask yourself, who is the type of person who sells $1 million properties? What beliefs do they hold? What habits do they hold? And am I willing to do what needs to be done to get there? This is one of the most important questions. A lot of us say that we want to be whatever. We want to sell $1 million houses. We want to be famous. We want to make whatever it is. But when you ask yourself those questions, a lot of people, this is where they lack. You got to work for it. It doesn't come without just saying, I want to do it. You got to work and work hard for it. Not necessarily hard, because that's a limiting belief, right? But you got to put your energy into it. You give life to what you give energy to. So this is a really, really important part. So whatever questions you have, whatever question or something you want to do, so first thing you do is project yourself and imagine as if you're in the identity of a person. So instead of saying, I'm going to run a marathon, you say, I'm a runner, right? Because if I'm just running a marathon, I'm just running a marathon. I'm not a runner. But when I'm a runner, I'm stepping into the identity of a runner. So it's you can say, I sell $1 million properties, or say, I sell luxury properties. That's different, right? There's a difference between them. Does that make sense, guys? Perfect. And that's it. I pretty much, yeah. Does any of those limiting beliefs sounds familiar of whatever we talked about today? Are they holding you back? Did you find some limiting beliefs that were holding you back? Did it help you evoke some stuff that you didn't want to look into sometimes, right? And what other limiting beliefs might you hold that are slowing you down? Discover who you could be. Discover who you could be and what you could achieve. So Fred has that. So if anybody wants to contact me later, and I'm going to put it also in the chat, just kind of my website. But let's go to questions and answers if we have time. I hope you enjoyed it, guys.
Ro,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I apologize. I can't see hands because I'm driving. And if I cut in front of somebody, I'm sorry, I'll be quiet. But that was absolutely amazing. And I want to thank you for being here. And Fred, thank you for having her here. This is absolutely mind-blowing. And one of the things that I just got out of that is, who do I need to eliminate from my world and my surroundings that support those limited beliefs or encourage those limited beliefs as well? So thank you.
Hey, Tom, you're right on. And one of the things, that exercise about the rocks in your pocket, right? When you think about that and you start releasing one by one, you start feeling yourself floating to where you want to get to, number one. There's another concept too, and that is, we all only have a certain capacity. And when you picture a glass, right? And if you fill a glass up with water, it's full, but you put a rock in it, what's it going to do? It's going to push water out. You put another rock in, it's going to push water out. So I keep going back to this. We've been programmed, the ego's been programmed, which a bunch of rocks, right? So we try to put water in it, which is what this money, prosperity, health, happiness, and we try to put that in our glass, and we don't get it. Why? Because the rocks of these beliefs that Ro's talking about are filling the glass. So what do you have to do? You can't go get a new glass. You only got one. So you got to get rid of those rocks so you can experience that fresh, clean water flowing into your life. And what's interesting, Ro, is I want to share this, is that what you were talking about, limiting beliefs of money, this chart started when I was a 26-year-old sales manager. Believe it or not, I went to a seminar and they were talking about Dr. Dennis Waitley that I had the opportunity of, working with. But it was just this simple graph. And that was, to the left, when I work on my just do, right? Instead of being, right, that I will have just a certain ceiling. One of the ways I took an office as a 26-year-old manager with no experience to the #1 office within a year out of 13 is I got this concept and I wouldn't let it go. And what I started realizing, every one of my agents, and by the way, can you imagine having to meet with me every day? Every one of my agents, I finally realized that they had a little range over here because they would work here. And every one of them, as soon as I would sit them down, and I said, tell me about your parents. tell me about your uncles. Anybody that was earning back then, if you did $45,000, $50,000 a year, was a pretty good producer. But if they were stopped at like 40,000, as soon as I asked a question, no one in their family had ever earned over $40,000. One agent that took me serious on that, her family was always just laborers and that kind of thing. I think the highest income in their family was 35,000. That year, she broke $100,000. She became a listing machine. And as I helped agents discover this idea of the inside out, don't focus over here, you focus on this, these beliefs, this automatically followed, right? And now I didn't know then why or what, even in my own life, that I ended up, self-destructing because not knowing how deep this really gets. But this ego is so deep and it just holds you here. You can play with it. I see people driving Porsches and driving Lamborghinis, and they did really good over here. I always bring up Robin Williams, right? Constantly at the top of his game, constantly at the top of making people laugh, constantly doing it. But what happened is that no one helped him deprogram all those belief systems that he had, right? And that then depression results and other things result. But anyway, Ro, that I thought about this when you brought that up, and about these limiting beliefs and why, and how deep it really is, and why you need to do this meditation daily. And I have numbers of them. I do. YouTube is loaded with affirmations and meditation. So, Ro, thank you, and let's open it up. And guys, please take this and just let this be your starting point. Ro, I want you to share one other thing though, and you didn't bring it up, which is my most powerful, and I think you know which one it is you gave me. What is it?
Oh, it was the picture.
The index card in the pocket.
Yeah.
Bring that up. The index card in the pocket.
Oh, you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
I don't think I'll explain a little bit, but it's pretty much, it's like you want me to go into the how, and it's hard to explain. So maybe you explain it with your experience, because I'm looking at it from my NLP mind.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who are been on, my calls, and when we went through positive intelligence, and by the way, if you're new and you're here and you're visiting, go to positiveintelligence.com. Go down to the middle of the page and find out what your saboteurs are. What keeps sabotaging you? What's your belief system? Which are all the things we're talking about today? And, I ranked my number one as a helper, right? Because I was one of the last of 6 kids. And when you're sexually abused as a kid and physically abused and all that kind of stuff, so you want to save the world, which is good, bad, and different. Everything's good and everything's bad. Everything's yin yang and all this good stuff. But anyway, my number one, saboteur is being too much of a helper. And so when I'm making another major transition in my life is when I started meeting with Ro, and a major decision. Divorced 40 years, married 40 years, divorced 7, went back for 2 to try to unscramble eggs. And we were working on it. Some positive things came out of it, but it had come to the point where it wasn't going to work. And that was heavy. I now had to go through hell a second time, and so did she. So anyway, Ro and I were working on this. And one of the things that kept coming up that's holding me back is by putting others first all the time. And so, the idea is to have an index card in your pocket. And then every time you go to do something, pull that index card and say, what do I really want? And on that card is what I really want. And that is that, when I start to do something, evaluate it, look at that card, and then say, that's who I really want to be. And what I'm about ready to do, will it serve me? And then on the back of that card, was, wait a minute, a lot of times you give someone a dole, a handout, you deny them dignity, right? That was Abraham Lincoln's quote. So on the back of that card, I actually took it further because I keep playing with that card is, am I denying people their indignity, which I have a tendency to do. So anyway, every time I go to do something, and then there's rewards on it, is that if I don't do it for them, what will I do with that extra money, those extra resources, and to take care of the little boy inside, right? And so putting myself first above all else, because then I could serve others much better. Because if you're empty you could be the biggest giver in the world, but if you're empty, what good is it? You know,
Pour from an
Um,
empty cup.
what's that?
Can pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, pour from an empty cup. And that's one of the works that Ro and I did. So that card in your pocket, that was very powerful for me. And I use it all the time now. I pull the card out of my pocket. So anyway, this idea of programming is so important in getting rid of these beliefs. That ego, man, wants to destroy you. I'm telling you, it's that left brain chatter. It's that parent chatter. It's that parent voice.
Constant,
You've got to look-
the constant fight. Daryl, I saw you had a question, right?
Yes, I did. Thank you. I'm not going to cry, Trisha. So yes, can I get like a copy of those questions? I think it's so thought provoking, and something that I found helpful is I like to go back because this is very quick. I like to go back and actually spend a little more time with that. Is that possible?
Yeah, I know that somebody, I think somebody else asked it. Oh yeah, it was you. Yeah, I'll just send it to Fred and he can post. You're talking about the last part, right? Where I said step into the identity of.
Yeah, the three, and I kind of came in a little late, sorry. But the three areas and the questions that you take us through to really let go of the rock. I'm trying to become like deep, and I just need tools. So this would be helpful, please.
Most definitely. I'll transfer it to Fred and he can post.
If you want to share that, we have time, Ro. If you want to share that again, is that what you're saying, Daryl? Share it again?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
because that's sure worth repeating.
So maybe I came in late on the chat.
Let me see. Play from start. Let's see. Let me share this. And we're talking about, I don't know if we're talking about this. No, it's going to take me all the way from the beginning. Are we talking about these ones or?
Yeah, all that was where you kind of walk us through well, I'm gonna even do money and business. That's something I really connected with.
The
The
three,
limiting beliefs, the questions we have to kind of cut to help change those.
okay, so I think that's what we're talking about, but then I did a guided imagery. So that was me
Yeah.
freestyling.
Yeah, Daryl, what we'll do, hey, Ro, send me the slides. What we're going to do, Daryl, we'll post them on Workplace. If you're a visitor and you're not EXP, you don't have access to Workplace, whoever invited you, they can get you access. And then we will definitely post these slides on the Workplace and on the, by the way, we can place them on the YouTube channel also, right, Tiff? The PDF. So we'll have those. Okay. Yeah, that'll where you go back through it there. It's very powerful. And I encourage you, let this be, and I encourage you, let me tell you something. I highly recommend Ro. I've been doing this stuff all my life, folks. And when I meet a master, I want to just introduce her as a master because she is. And I encourage you to think about engaging her as a coach. It's session to session, however you want to work it out with her, but it's powerful. It's, my 1 hour sessions with her is been phenomenal. So I highly recommend her. So yeah, if you'll send them over and then I'll make sure I get them to Tiffany and stuff and we'll post them on the channel. Anybody else? I think I saw somebody else. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
I saw Justin first.
Speak up.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Ro, for that presentation. It was really eye-opening. My question to you is, do you believe that if you were a follower or believer in karma, which I am, and I believe that, you do good, everything has a balance to it, as Fred was saying. Is karma a limiting belief? Can it be a limiting belief? I feel like that's kind of what my biggest limiting belief could be.
It could be a limiting belief, definitely. What comes around goes around. That's a limiting belief that probably stops you from doing stuff or summoning stuff to you. It's the way we wire it in our brain, right? It's just to change the way you think about karma.
Yeah, Justin, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up, is because, it's the same way as that I can't afford it, right? That That is karma because it comes right back, right? So karma in one way is yes, but in another way is that limiting belief is because you believe there's scarcity and prosperity. Well, there's only prosperity. There is no scarcity. Life, our source has no shortage of sustenance, right? There's no shortage of sustenance in this world. Where is it?
But
There-
if
there-
your belief is not, that's where everything gets tricky. It's nice when we just talk about it as words, but if nothing has changed internally in our belief system, it falls on deaf ears.
Well, and that's kind of what I feel is limiting for me is that, I know that I'm always trying to do good because I want it to attract good in my life, but I also feel like I need to do good to counter any bad that does occur or has occurred in the past. And it's almost like, when something bad happens, I feel like, all right, well, maybe that means something good's gonna happen. And it's almost like I'm waiting for that bad to happen so that I can get the good, get the bad over with to have the good.
To happen, but that's how you're wiring it. You're waiting for it. That's what unconscious mind is waiting for. So what I would suggest is kind of rewire your thinking. It's almost like unconsciously you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Well, and also something that I'm now realizing as I'm thinking about it is I feel like if I do better, if I do more, it's almost like everything's kind of like this, but if this is good and this is bad, if I do greater good, I'm going to receive greater bad. And because of all things being in balance. So if I go to an extreme, the other one's going to go to an extreme. And I feel like that's really my limiting factor.
Justin,
You can
Go ahead.
reach out to me later if you want, and we can definitely work on it. It goes fast. That's the
Yeah.
beauty.
Okay, cool.
Justin, thank you for that. And because you know what, you are not the exception, my friend. That's the way. That's why so many people are broke, is because of that. And we don't come from abundance. We come from scarcity. We think that we only have so much, and I got to be so good to get it. And it has nothing to be. It's all about the wellspring that's within, right? Living from the inside out. And that is that connection to the source, which is powerful and which is only pure. Divine integrity and divine intelligence, is what it's all about. And you don't trick it. And we were taught, if you're good, God will be happy, right? If you're bad, God's going to be upset, right?
Right.
Were you? Did you believe in Christmas when I was a kid? Did you believe in Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Well, not for you though, Justin. And that's you have Santa Claus thinking, right? And where did you get it? You were programmed, like we all were. Thank you, man. That was powerful. Hey, Trisha.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Fred. Hi, group. Justin, thank you for going just before me because I resonate exactly with what you say. And I want to go a little bit further, and I did direct message you to talk about this. First of all, Ro, I also resonate with you, meaning I align on the same energy. This entire meeting this morning was what I needed. It's what I called into my universe. And to tell you the whole time, my throat is closed up. I have these exercises that I do to release tension, to release those limiting beliefs, to release and open up to the universe, right? This stuff removes blocking, right? I have to, these are things, I'm not crazy. They actually work, right? And first question that I had, because I wrote them down, Ro, do you train a trainer? NLP is something that I've been familiar with for a multitude of years. Like when I say I started in speech and debate in high school, and was in Toastmasters before I was a senior, right? Like NLP is something that is talked about regularly, and it's one of those that I go, yeah. I sit and I listen. I've been in multiple sessions, but how I learn is I teach. So this is why I'm an instructor. Do you think I was an instructor just to teach other people for an altruistic? No, it's because I was just going to say it with the wrong words, but I'm a little dense. And so when I have to repeat, it becomes a part of my DNA. So I teach because it becomes a part of me. And then all of the people around me get to radiate and benefit from that, right? So I'd like to talk to you about that on another time because of, either coming in on a session. But right off the bat, when I raised my hand, when you were talking about the self, and this goes to what Justin was talking about. In my experience, my human experience, the first 7 years are what forms our character, and not just good and evil character, but our character and endurance in life. Like our first 7 years of life forms, whether we admit it or not. When you look back to that, those are the years that impact, that you can't even speak. How do I know that? Or why do I lean that way? It's because you were trained in from an early time. And in my lifetime, that target, this is what happens. This is my self-limiting belief, is when, I can't even say it, when I become a center of attention, where listen, I'm all about success. I run over things, I make accomplishments, but the moment a spotlight comes this way, that goes to me. And I'm not talking about when I'm teaching in a classroom, because that is my domain, that is my job. I become a target. And it is because I know here, but not here, that was a product of, and it's not my, I'm not gonna blame the parent that I got in life. We get what we get, and we get what we get for a reason, and we do not know why, right? I'm not going to assign blame to say, I learned how to endure pain, okay? I learned how to take pain and difficult work and hard work because I thought it would make, I thought the better I achieved, the more I did, maybe it wouldn't come back as a negative. Do you understand? So the higher or the better achievement, like I know with my credentials and I know with what I know in every fiber of my being, I need to be on a national stage. I know that, but I also know that the moment outside of my protected bubble, and you guys are my protected bubble in this moment, okay?
Hey, Trish, let me say this. I mean, the comments that you're getting, thank you so much for your vulnerability and everything, because this is what this is about, us getting real. But I just put the link for Ro in there. Please click that link. Set a 30-minute time with Ro.
Yeah.
And then also, you and I have never had a chance of meeting one-on-one. I think you need to, send me an email. I don't.
Sorry, I apologize. Yeah.
No.
This is good. I'll get to my question then.
Go ahead.
In those limiting beliefs, the things that when you overcome and those items that you go, I recognize this. And where do we go? And my question was, is this NLP or is this therapy or is it what?
So this is a great question, what you're asking. It's like people are so caught up with NLP, hypnosis, therapy, and the best way I like to explain it is, it's totally NLP, hypnosis. The difference between therapy and NLP and hypnosis is, with therapy, you go and hashtag the past, where when it's NLP and hypnosis, it's less problem-oriented, it's more solution-oriented. So it's how are we going into the future? And whatever you said was really, really smart and true, the 7 years. So I'm going to take it to hypnosis world for a second. around the age of 11, there's something that's called the critical faculty closes, which is the gate between our conscious mind and our unconscious mind, right? So everybody knows here in the back, the unconscious mind is 95% of the power, only 5 is in the front. You know how and I always like to explain it like this, and then it will make sense, because you said it by the age of 7, from 7 to 11, it closes. If you tell a 5-year-old right now, it's your birthday, there's a dinosaur is gonna knock at the door with a cake and wings, and he's gonna blow rainbows on you, he'll believe you, right? Because this critical faculty is not closed yet. So once we have access to here, we believe we can do everything. And then life comes in and it closes, and then all our limiting beliefs are starting to pile up from our childhood, from our parents, from the environment. So whatever I hear with you, yes, definitely. It sounds like you're super ready, super aware, and now it just needs changes in the unconscious mind. Because something there is not working. The conscious mind and the unconscious mind are not meeting. So that would be my answer to you. I hope it answered your question.
Oh my gosh, fantastic. And you know, the other thing too is that we're all about learning. We got to learn more. And that what Ro is just describing is not about learning, it's about seeing. We got to stop learning, guys. I don't spend 10, 12, 14, 15, 18 hours a week on YouTube to learn anything. I do it to unlearn. I do it to see more. I see it I'm in there for wisdom, not knowledge. We don't need any knowledge. What Ro was just talking about, the little kid believing you, was all about seeing. That's what the subconscious does. That's the emotional, that's the creative. We've got to stop this learning stuff. That's how we're programmed. We're programmed. Our entire education system is all about the left brain, and not about the being and the emotional, right?
It doesn't serve the new world at all.
The being, it does not serve the being. And you know, you said something, Trish, and it's typical. I just went through this at 2 o'clock this morning. I'm a 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning kind of guy. I get up and, you know, and a lot of times and get to my meditation. And right now, and of course, in Miracles, I'm in between this one section, and I started to say, darn, when will I ever get this? And again, it started to come. I didn't get it completely out of my mouth. I said, there you go again. You want to get it. You're never going to get it if you think that's what it's not about getting. It's about seeing. It's about seeing, you know, and it's so you don't want to, you used the word dense. None of us are dense. You know, we are phenomenal co-creators with our source. And, you know, I'm, you know, that we're not dense. We're not dense. We've been programmed that we're dense, but not. I love that analogy. You know, the little kid, you do tell 5-year-old, blah, blah. And that's where we got to get. And the most important time, as you're going to bed and you're getting up, I keep headphones right next to my bed when I'm going to bed and when I'm getting up. There's the programming, because as Dr. Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, they teach, you know, that's when the mind is in your kid state. You're that little kid at the door, you'll believe it. So you got to go to bed with something positive, pure, and powerful, not television, not news, not social media, not emails, not text. And the first thing you wake up, you've got to. And how many of us, all of us, I wake up sometimes and first day as a negative thought in the middle of the night, you start stirring you up a little bit. Immediately I reach over, I turn on my programming, and because that ego is powerful. You're not going to defeat it. You just got to see that you're bigger who you really are. And that's what it is. And who would you be if you did not know who you were? Who of you, for instance, I used to be a radical evangelical Christian, okay, because of my programming, right? And then I meet people that are, you know, Orthodox Jewish. I always ask, what would have been happened if they were born to Methodist parents? If they would have been born to Christian parents, what would their belief system be, right? So again, it's nothing about doing or all this program. It's all about, you know, the future. And that's why I love hypnosis and NLP, is because it's all about the future. And you do have to go look, and you do have to recognize some of these things. Last week, Dr. Levinsky's on the Living Course, which is coming up in July. I hope some of you sign up for the Living Course. We do go back to the past just enough to recognize, so now you can build a beautiful future. So that's what you need some help with too, Tricia. All of us. So fantastic. Anybody else? We got a couple more minutes here. Anybody else? I don't see any raised hands.
Hey, Danielle here. I just did a vision board. I'm super visual. So I have an app on my phone, and I just did a cool little vision board. So thank you.
What's the app?
I use Canva.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant an app to create vision, but that's Canva. Yeah, got it. Yeah, and last week, 2-3 weeks ago, when I went to the cabin experience, that was one of our projects. It was a 2-hour project where we couldn't use words, couldn't use couldn't use words and couldn't use numbers. And we had to draw the future self in pictures. And it's hanging up right in my bathroom every morning, every night. I look at it 3-4 times. It's powerful. It's powerful. That's what Roe just took us through.
Totally. And mine was all about well-being. Like a lot of it, part of it is money, but for me, what showed up was eating healthy, working out, just like being really comfortable in my own skin.
And you know what? When you're comfortable in your own skin, all that other stuff flows to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. If you were on the call, I don't know, a number of weeks ago when I asked, I want to make a list of what you truly want, what you truly dream about. Not one person mentioned love. Not one person mentioned peace of mind. Not one person mentioned, because that's just not the way we're programmed. We're programmed, let's see what we can get from without, instead of saying, what can I discover from within? And yet all the masters, all the religious teachers, all the messiahs, everyone teaches the same thing, that the kingdom of God is within. It's already there. Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. Zig Ziglar, You Were Born to Win. What's many of them? It's the same thing. It's already there. This is all about seeing, not about knowing or doing, right?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I watched a Tony Robbins video, and he was like, you've got to master the body first. Something like that, like master the body first before you master anything else. And I've been fighting that, and I just got it now. It's like, if I can master, body, eating healthy, feeling good in the body, then all that other stuff, like appointments and whatever, listings, that's nothing compared to this.
Are you on my Mind Body Mastermind on Facebook?
I don't know. I'll see. I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Mind Body Mastermind on Facebook, Fred DeFalco. Please join that and comment on what you're doing, your experience. That's what that page is for. All right. Anybody else? Great meeting. Row. Namaste. And where's Ryan? I saw he was driving. Is Ryan still on her husband? Ryan is an agent of ours. There he is. Look at
there,
that.
Guys.
Thanks,
Ro.
You can see Ro does a good job. Look how relaxed he looks. She does a really good job there. Oh, all right, guys. Anything?
That was amazing. I'm so happy to share my expertise with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you, Fred, for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Someone put a link to our mastermind, the Facebook mastermind, and then I'm going to put Ro's Facebook group in there one more time. What's that, a 30-day session? A 30-minute session, Ro, that was on there, I think I saw.
Yeah, it's a free kind of strategy call, introduction call, just to see really that I can help, or it's the right match, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
I will do service and not this service. So first we kind of chat.
Yeah. Okay, good. And if you look at the comments, all the wonderful thank yous, we really appreciate you. And we're definitely going to have you back for sure. Right, guys? Let's do it. Okay, next week, I got a big surprise for everyone. It's going to be called How to Get the Smost Out of Life. SMOST. It's a form of business planning, life planning, visioning called SMOST, SMOST, that I came up with years ago. So you don't want to miss that one. You want to bring guests, any other, agents that you want to bring them, because this is getting down the brass tacks. It's not mindset only, it's skill set. It's real, true planning and visioning with a very simple approach. S stands for situation. M stands for what is my mission in life. O stands for my objectives. S stands for the strategies that I got to implement in my life. And T are for the tactics. What tactical things am I going to do today, tomorrow, and to make this happen for me? So don't miss next week. Smost. All right. Good seeing you all. Who's taking over from here?
Thank you, Fred.